A 1-1 draw against Ipswich for Ruben Amorim in his first game in charge of Manchester United. I think it's fair to say Amorim has learned a lot about his Man United players straight away. Now let's run through 5 of the most important things to take away from that Ipswich game as Amorim begins the process of reshaping this squad in his image. I think it's fair to say that Ruben Amorim would have learned plenty from that game against Ipswich, and I think we did as well. What I'm going to do in this video is run through 5 key takeaways from that Ipswich game that Amorim will take into Bodo Glimt and Everton and the games that we have got coming up as he continues to shape this squad. It's only one game after 2 full training sessions. What do you think we learned? Well, quite a lot we already knew, but now Amorim knows. And number 1 on this list is, well, this is a bit obvious, but it's going to take some time for Amorim to establish what he wants to establish, but he's absolutely not going to waver from that.
It's frustrating for the fans, but we are changing so much in this moment with a lot of games. We are going to suffer.
We are going to suffer, right? Amorim's words, not mine. And this here, him explaining basically, look, I could change it now. Probably would make us better in this moment. But I guarantee you in a year's time, we come back to this exact same point with the same problems. Now, if you remember the start of Erik ten Hag at United, we lost our first 2 games against Brighton and Brentford. What happened? We ended up playing it more long, more direct. We won our next 4 games. Liverpool, Leicester and Southampton and Arsenal. But our identity was confusing. And the identity never, ever stuck. Amorim, this is a comment from a Sporting fan on the video. Look, Amorim knows exactly what he wants. Danny Murphy might try and suggest that 3-4-3 won't work after 1 game. Well done, Danny Murphy. Top-level punditry. Amorim is laser-focused. And he's not going to do what Erik ten Hag did and sort of switch. He's going to stay focused on his system. And the players need to come on board with it. And number 2 on the list, look. This is not a lesson learned for us, but maybe a lesson learned for Ruben Amorim. That these players really do not have the intensity to play this system. I said the intensity is probably going to be one of the slowest things to come because the players are thinking too much. They were playing in a different style, and now they've got to second guess themselves in all their decision making, in their positions, in what they should be doing and what maybe they're not doing. Or Johnny Evans should be pressing forward onto Hutchinson. Or Dalot should be, not inverting as a fullback. These sort of things, which will become second nature to these players, will improve the intensity. But overall, I mean, you can't expect intensity in a team that has Casemiro, Eriksen and Evans starting. Realistically, you can't, can you? And I think Amorim has now learned that from that game. I don't think we'll see Evans play as a left-sided centre-back anymore. I don't think you'll see Casemiro and Eriksen start in midfield together anymore. We already knew that. Now Amorim knows. Now, 3rd on this list, I want to kind of point towards Amorim's honest post-match comments. And there's 3 or 4 examples here that I want to run through. Because so many people were frustrated, certainly towards the end with Erik ten Hag, that what he said didn't really reflect what we had just watched as fans. However, in complete contrary, everything that Ruben Amorim said after this game, we're like, yeah, okay, that's what I saw. That's what I saw. Dalot, for example, here. He's saying that Dalot, he's used to cutting inside, passing it to the centre-backs and going inside as an inverted midfielder. That's not his position anymore. He now needs to stick to the position out on the left. Bruno Fernandes, when it's not quite working for United, a lot of times he drops deep. And he put Bruno in a midfield alongside Ugarte when he made subs and brought Xerxes and Højlund on. But Bruno was looking for the ball too long. He can't do that. He doesn't want him to do that. Xerxes, he commented on his positioning saying, look, when we've got 2 attackers on the pitch, we need you to get into the box. All of this is constructive criticism towards helping these players to get out of those habits and build new ones. And at the same time as there's constructive criticism, there's constructive praise. Ahmad, I'll speak about him next, but it goes to show you that there are going to be players that just don't like taking any constructive criticism. Like, I'm a complete player. I'm not just talking about United, I'm just talking about footballers in general. That's not how it works. Coaches are there to help coach, to help improve. And that's why I liked those comments from Ruben Amorim after the game. It's not throwing any players under the bus. It's just kind of saying what you're seeing. Say what you see. Big up catchphrase. Anyway, And I think a lot of people were frustrated with Ten Hag basically doing the opposite towards the end of his tenure. So I think they'll like that. And I want to quickly go back and speak there about Ahmad, because I think Ahmad deserves individual praise for that performance. Was he a perfect right wing back? No. Did he get beaten a couple of times? Yep, some balls over the top, sure. But was that the first time that Ahmad's ever played in a wing back role? Yes. How many training sessions had he had to learn what Amorim wanted him to do? 3. Was it a tough game for him? Ipswich had a lot of the ball. He was operating more as a fullback rather than he was as a wing-back. I think Ahmad deserves a lot of praise. I don't think any other player in that team was asked to learn more in a short space of time than what Ahmad was. And he was one of the best players on the pitch. Goes to show you that some players... Every player is different, right? But some players are able to sort of absorb new information and immediately make an impact. And I think that's what Ahmad did there. And that'll put him in the good books for Ruben Amorim. But overall, right, something I need to say about this squad, which you know. This squad just is not good enough overall for Amorim. I stand by what I've said quite a few times. I think this squad is better than what we have seen so far this season and what we saw against Ipswich. And I think Amorim will get more out of this squad the longer it goes on. The more games, the more training sessions, week by week, we should progressively improve. There's no international break anymore. There's no stepping away from it until March. It's just game after game, week after week, staying in the environment and getting better. However, there are some players there that just, in my opinion, don't have a position next season. Johnny Evans will be replaced. Thank you, Johnny. Did great. Did far more than I thought he would. But shake hands, move on. Maybe come back to United as a coach. Casemiro, shake hands, good luck elsewhere. But we need to bring in somebody who's younger, who can press, who can bring that energy in midfield like you would have done when you were younger. But, you know, age catches up with everybody. Same with Eriksen. And once Amorim moulds the squad in that sense, it's going to look so much better. Look, if you're being completely honest, if everyone was fit yesterday, you're making how many changes to that starting 11? 4? 5? You're bringing in Yoro. You're bringing in probably Luke Shaw. You're bringing in Martinez. You're bringing in Ugarte. You're bringing in Mainu. That's 5 out of the starting 11. You know what I mean? First game, 2 training sessions done. And I think it's just it's a lesson for Amorim. The intensity is probably going to be the hardest thing for him to build into a team, because some of the players just, they might want to, but they physically aren't capable of doing it. So how do you bridge that gap between now and then? Maybe when you bring in players who can do that. How can you get the most out of this squad? That's what Amorim's job is going to be. But week by week, I think United, game by game, will get better. And if that's the starting point against Ipswich, let's be honest, wasn't that great. But it wasn't a surprise to any of us. And unfortunately for Amorim, I don't think it would have been a surprise to him, but I think he would have hoped to have seen more. Let's see what changes come against Bodo Glimt and Everton and what comes next. You let me know what you think in the comments below. If you can, please drop a like on the video.